It was a dark and stormy morning in Assisi. I got up at 5 a.m. I had to run down to the lower level to catch a bus down to the train station. I'll never forget it. I was staying in a old medieval bed and breakfast. And the morning I left, it was 5 a.m., I had to let myself out very quietly. Um, and I remember before I left, my whole window was lit up by a crash of thunder and lightning just streaked. Big bolt of it lit the window up. So anyway, I let myself out and I start going down the little, everything's very medieval there, ambiance. It's kind of like everything's kind of a gray brick rock. Went out, no umbrella, just my pull bag full of all my belongings, my clothes. Barely see because it was pretty dark still, but I had to get down there early. And it was just pouring down rain, just in sheets. And I was just getting wet by the second. So I found a doorway, and the doorways there are pretty shallow. But I thought, well, I'll plaster myself inside a doorway just to get out of the weather for a little bit. Well, I tried that and it didn't work. I mean, there was no protection. So I kind of sighed and I thought, well, I guess I just have to give myself into the elements. I surrender. And I did. I just went all the way down, 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 down. These little cutbacks went down to the bus pickup. And by the time I reached it, I was sopping wet. And it was still barely light, but light enough to see. So I got on the bus, and the bus took me to the train station and made my way onto the right train to Florence. And then from Florence, changed trains to Siena. So by the time I got to Siena, fortunately, I had dried out. But prior to then, when I was still in Assisi and got on the bus, I was like, when you just get out of a shower and your hair is wet, it's hanging in your face, and it's dripping all over, that is exactly how wet I got. So I got to Assisi, had my little pull bag behind me with all my belongings that had been soaked everything was soaked. So I trudged on, got off the train, and was walking, several, blocks, I guess, up to my Alma Domus, which was a convent very close to the medieval center of Siena. So anyway, started walking, and the sky opened up and it just unleashed a torrent unbelievable. And I got soaked one more time. Well, I checked into Alma Domus, just soaking wet, got to my room, locked the door, unzipped my bag and got all my belongings out, and my whole room, when I was done, I stood back and looked at my room, and every single nook and cranny and whatever had clothes spread out all over everywhere to dry because my whole bag was wet. It's a rainy day here in McMinnville. It's just been pouring down rain in Oregon. And I was kind of looking out the window, late afternoon here, looking out the window and thinking, man, that sure reminds me of the time I was in Assisi. That torrential rain. Minus the thunder and lightning. We haven't had that yet today. But even though at the time it was very irritating and annoying, I didn't like getting wet, I didn't like the inconvenience, I didn't like looking like I just stepped out of a shower, it has become actually one of my fondest memories because it was real. I remember walking down that medieval street, the rain pelting down. I was the only one on it. Everybody else was probably sound asleep. And I remember thinking, I can just see St. Francis and his tattered monks coming around the corner in bare feet, just wet like I am, sopping wet. I didn't see that, but I could sure imagine it. Thanks for checking in. I love sharing these stories with you.